What happens when you stop caring what people think? Something strange begins to happen. You're still in the same world, same people, same environment, same challenges. But suddenly you're no longer controlled by it. You're no longer shrinking yourself to fit into other people's expectations. You're no longer carrying the weight of 1,000 imaginary judgments. You're no longer editing your personality to please people who don't even know themselves. Most people live like prisoners in an invisible cage, a cage built from other people's opinions. They walk differently because they want to be perceived as confident. They talk differently because they want to sound smart. They do things not because they want to, but because they're terrified of being judged if they don't. But here's the truth. Nobody's thinking about you as much as you think they are. People are too busy worrying about how they're being perceived to spend time judging you. And yet, we let the fear of being judged by others control the way we dress, speak, act, and live. But what if you stopped? What if you let go of that constant need to be liked, admired, or approved of? You'd start to notice something. You feel lighter, more grounded, more you. You laugh louder, speak more freely, create without second-guessing yourself. Because now, you're no longer filtering everything through the question, what will they think of me? Here's the secret. When you stop caring what people think, you become magnetic. Not because you're trying to be, but because authenticity is rare and people crave it. You become a force, unapologetic, unfiltered, unshakably yourself. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But that's almost impossible if you're constantly molding yourself to fit someone else's idea of you. So many people live their entire lives performing, acting out roles just to gain acceptance. They become the nice guy, the cool girl, the overachiever, not because it's who they are, but because it's who they think the world wants them to be. But deep down, there's a quiet ache, a feeling that something's off, because you can only wear a mask for so long before it starts to suffocate you. And eventually, you realize something painful, but liberating. You've been betraying yourself to be accepted by others. And that's the real cost of caring too much about what people think. You lose you. So what changes when you stop? You start listening to your own voice. You stop second-guessing every move. You stop needing permission to take up space. You stop waiting to be told you're enough. You just are. You show up in rooms without shrinking. You express your truth without apology. You make decisions from your values, not someone else's expectations. And guess what? You start attracting the right people. The ones who align with the real you. The fake ones fade away. The people who only like the version of you that was performing, they disappear. And that's okay. Because when you're truly yourself, you don't need a crowd. You just need to stop abandoning the one person who's been with you from the beginning. You. Here's something else nobody tells you. The people you're afraid of being judged by, they're not thinking about you that deeply. Most of them are projecting their own fears, insecurities, and limitations onto you. When someone says, "You can't do that," what they often mean is, "I couldn't do that, and I'd feel uncomfortable if you could." So why let that define your path? You were not put on this earth to play small, so someone else feels comfortable. You were not born to be a watered-down version of yourself. You are here to be, fully, loudly, and unapologetically. But here's where it gets real. Stopping caring what people think doesn't mean becoming rude, cold, or arrogant. It doesn't mean rejecting everyone's input just to prove a point. It means detaching your identity from external validation. It means knowing who you are so deeply that approval becomes optional, not essential. You stop performing. You start living. You stop chasing applause. You start doing what feels true. You stop fearing rejection. You start embracing alignment. And that's when you tap into something powerful. Clarity, peace, presence. You start creating art that actually means something. You say no without guilt. You walk away from people, places, and situations that drain you without needing to justify it. Why? Because your worth is no longer on trial in every interaction. You've already decided you're enough. And ironically, that's when people start respecting you more. Because you're not begging for it. People sense when someone is rooted in themselves. They might not like it, but they respect it. And those who don't, they were never meant to walk this path with you anyway. So how do you get there? It starts with awareness. Ask yourself, where in my life am I still performing? Who am I trying to impress and why? What parts of me have I been hiding because I'm afraid they won't be accepted? And then, little by little, start peeling back the mask. Speak when your voice shakes. Show up when you're scared. Stand alone if you have to. Because the path to becoming yourself is rarely crowded, but it's always worth it. You'll lose some people. You'll disappoint others. You'll probably question yourself 100 times. But keep going, because on the other side of all that fear is freedom. Real, grounded, soul-level freedom. And once you taste it, you'll never go back. So the next time you feel that old fear creeping in, that voice saying, "What will they think?" Ask yourself this instead. What will I think of myself if I betray who I am just to fit in? Because that's the only opinion that will matter in the end.